Well, 2018 has been a year of large caps so far. The Nifty is mildly higher, but the pain has been seen in the broader markets. The small cap and the middle cap indices, they are down between 13 to around 20%. But today, we bring to you a masterclass with noted investor, Mr. VIjay Kedia. Mr. VIjay Kedia, by the way, needs no introduction, but is known for his bottom-up approach and is noted for 100 baggers like Aegis Logistics, Serra Sanitary Ware, as well as Athu Lotto. The most recent 10-bagger, in fact, is Sudarshan Chemicals in the last 4 years. Thanks so much for joining in, Mr. Kedia. Pleasure talking to you. Well, let's start talking about the market right away then. How are you reading current market sentiment? Sit on cash or go out there? There are plenty of opportunities.
No, I cannot go anywhere because I am 100% invested in this market.
Okay.
And ever since I am in this market, say last for 30 years, more than 30 years, there was not a single day when I was not 100% invested.
All right.
So I am fully invested. And if you ask me that where do I see this market, so let me tell you, my approach to this market is little different. So either you are investing into a market, or you are investing into a stock, or you are investing into a company. So actually, I am not investing in this market, nor I am investing in the stocks. Actually, I am investing in the companies.
Right.
So if I am investing in the companies, then it doesn't matter to me whether we are in a bull market or we are in a bear market.
Right.
Actually, the truth is that we are into a stock market.
Absolutely.
Okay. And unpredictability and unprecedented fluctuation is the rule of the game.
Absolutely.
So you have to bear all these things. So I'm invested in companies and I'm long-term investor. So I'm just sitting tight. That's it.
Absolutely, sir. You know, you've been a noted investor. You've got many multi-baggers. Obviously, there would be hurdles on the way as well. But what is the most important point you look at? You know, for us youngsters, we're growing up. We look at, you know, the PE, EV upon EBITDA. Some talk about growth, ROC. For you, which is the most important among all these ratios that we talk about?
Now, to me, actually, concept is very important. So forget about the bottom line, forget about the top line. What is the growth in the company? The concept and the growth, which is very important.
Right.
So me, the most important factor in choosing an investment is actually the growth of that company. Whether the product will sustain in the due course and how fast a company can grow. That is more important.
So I was looking at some of your holdings, and in the recent past, Everest Industries. So what would you term it as? Bottom up or top down?
Actually, I would say it's blending of both.
Okay.
There are hardly few companies listed in this space. Only 4 companies, I think 4 or 5 companies are listed. So, and I think stock is also, what I feel, I may be wrong also, stock is also cheap.
Okay.
And it's a blending of both, as you asked.
Okay, all right. So Everest Industries is one stock where Mr. Kedia has increased his stake to roughly around 5% approximately. The other important points I wanted to ask you is, over the recent past, you know, if I just take a look at the last few years, the sector leader is something that doesn't grab your attention really. You look at maybe player number 3, player number 4 in a market. Case in point being a Serra Sanitary Ware or maybe even an Athu Lotto. They were not leaders in the sector, but they were big multi-baggers for you. Run us through the investment thesis there.
It was very simple, actually. When I bought all these stocks, which you had mentioned just now, Aegis and whatever, Athu Lotto and Serra Sanitary Ware, the biggest advantage actually was in my favor. That market was actually pretty bad that time because we had just come out from that coma kind of situation of Ketan Parekh scam and all.
Right.
So stocks were also very cheap at a throwaway price. So all these stocks were available at maybe a P of 5 or 6 and giving a dividend yield of around 5, 6 or 7%. And plus economy was also turning around.
Yeah.
And same case was there with all these companies. They were also turning around. So I got that advantage. So that is why all this become a multi-bagger.
Okay, all right. You know, the other space, Mr. Kedia, that everyone's talking about is the chemical space. In the last couple of years, and that's been getting a lot of attention. I understand that you did a lot of ground research. You visited China, you saw how the industry was shaping up there, and then you backed Sudarshan Chemicals, which, by the way, I think it's a 10-bagger from the time you bought it. Tell us, how does that go about? How important is ground research?
No, of course it is very important, because if your stake is high, then your research should also be certainly high.
Yeah.
So that time actually I was in China for some different reason, for some different venture. So then I happened to meet somebody from the chemical industry. And there I got to understand that China is losing the grip in pigments and this chemical field and all. So at that time I remember I visited Beijing also, and I could see the pollution and all. So that was a little bit groundwork I did. But only thing why I zeroed into Sudarshan Chemical, because I was following this company for last many years, maybe for last 15-20 years.
All right.
So my initial stock was bought in 1992 or 3, with a very small quantity, so which I held on to till 2014. And when I found that this structural change is happening in this pigment industry, then I bought Sudarshan Chemicals.
And what about chemicals industry? Most team left?
Of course, I think specialty chemical, not general commodity kind of chemical and all. And pigments and all, I think India is actually going way ahead than China.
Okay, so still positive on the chemicals space is what you're saying.
Chemical.
Specialty chemical space. Note that specialty chemical space is what Mr. Kedia is bullish on. The other space has been the auto space. We already spoke about Atul Auto, but even the bearings industry, it's known that you have, a couple of big stakes in ABC Bearings as well, which would be going in for a corporate action with Timken. How bullish are you out there? The auto space is turning around. The industrial industry as well is looking quite well. Your take on the bearings industry on the whole?
I think there was excess capacity in bearing industry. There are hardly few listed players in India, maybe 5 or 6 players. And ABC, when I bought that time, it was cheap. So now it is no more a cheap stock, just because it is getting merged with Timken Industries, so they will get a valuation of Timken. So looking at the overall scenario now, since like people are talking that India, our average capacity utilization is crossing 75% or something. So we believe that maybe going forward, private capex will start kicking off. So all these things will create a good demand for bearing industry. And Timken, being the world leader in bearing industry, will certainly bring all those technology into India. So certainly this company will also be benefited. So it's not at all a recommendation. The stock is very expensive.
Yeah.
So it's just a discussion.
Okay, but positive outlook for the bearings industry.
Timken, yeah. Now, since it will become a Timken company, so Timken valuation will be given.
So specialty chemical space is looking pretty interesting. We have even the bearing space that's looking pretty interesting as well. Well, over the last few days, Mr. Kedia, I've noticed that there's a lot of debate on gambling in India. I want to know whether or not Mr. Kedia are you a gambler? And what's your take on this space on the whole?
I'm a great gambler, actually. Not a small gambler. I go to casino and I play. My wife also likes to gamble. So, but we have set a limit that either when I will lose $100 or $200, that is my upper limit. So that is why I call myself great gambler. On gambling, I remember one thing, now government is contemplating of legalizing gambling in India. According to me, government has already legalized gambling, and what people are doing, trading into future and option, that is also a gambling only.
Okay.
So what is gambling? Gambling is like something you are taking a chance. Right. Okay, without any qualification, without any experience, you are doing something to make money without any logic. So that is taking a chance, that is gambling.
But for a lot of those investors who have come in there, they suddenly got hit. What kind of mistakes are they making? What kind of advice would you like to give some of these investors that are coming in there? Maybe you have a couple of themes as well that you have in mind that you could explain to them.
I will tell you one theme, one acronym is escape.
Okay.
How can you escape from the failure in the market? And especially, this is only for the newcomers and all. We can't teach or we can't interact with, veteran in the market. Of course, the newcomers, they should remember the word escape. And in escape, E stands for easy.
Yeah.
So whoever comes into the market, they feel this is market, making money in this market is very easy. They don't need any education, they don't need any learnings or no experience is required. Just you pass your BCom or your school and your university, and you can make money. So it's not an easy business. Okay, it's a simple business, but it's not an easy business. So that is why I have chosen this word, escape.
What's the acronym? I mean, if you could explain it to us.
Yeah, escape. In escape, E stands for easy. It's not an easy business.
Okay.
And C stands for crorepati. So that is the majority of the people want to become crorepati in a shortest possible time. In overnight, they want to become crorepati, and that is why they are doing all other mistakes. So, and this is why they fail in the market. And another word of escape is like later is A. So your approach to the market is wrong. Your approach to the market is like gambling, you know, and market rewards you as per your perception. If you think it's a gambling, then it will prove a gamble for you. And the last letter of escape is P, like PE. So P stands for penny stock. There are two reasons why people fail in this market. The major reasons is this. One reason is that they indulge into trading. Your approach is of gambling. And another reason is your love for penny stocks. You see, the most of the wealth in this market has been destroyed by these two segments, future and options and penny stocks. So if you can escape from this escape, then certainly I don't know whether you will make money or not. Actually, you will not fail in the market. You will not leave the market. You will not say later on that this market is a slaughterhouse.
So be aware, you know, if you don't have the right knowledge out there, then you're telling our audience out there, be careful. If you want to play in the futures and option space, you should have the qualifications out there. And even with regard to penny stocks, well, they look cheap, but be very, very careful out there, because that's where you can get hit the majority of the time.